Hi there, Pisces. It's Sebastian for your reading for February 2026. I am so sorry for not being here in January 2006. I had technical issues, my laptop broke. I also became very ill just before the deadline. And so before me making these videos or attempting to make these videos, I felt so sick. I also study, as you know, so accounting wasn't the easiest of subjects or degrees to finish. And it's my last year. I'm almost done. So balancing everything turned out to be a big one for me. And I'm here now though. So I'm really committed to I become more consistent. I'm here every single month. And that if that looks like doing videos prior by 2 weeks, then I'll do that. I'm here now, Pisces, so let's start your reading. So a lot of before I began the reading to my pre-reading, there was a lot of like communication about how you're very cosmic and you'll want you to see things in a different light. Now, this is a very particular group of Pisces because I find that Pisces don't communicate much about the spiritual realm, and if they do, they're full on. So you have like two groups of people. You either have people who tell you they're full on with their spiritual capabilities, or you have the other group who are very quiet and are actually the ones who are full on. So there's a lot of cosmic connections that you're trying to create. And what I mean by that is that you're trying to understand the world in a different manner. In this process, we're not in a really nice state as a world, as community, as a society. I am very aware that what's happening right now probably isn't the most enlightening experience for anyone. And to be honest, it's quite dangerous for people's spirituality and understanding of the world. There's a lot of things coming out in the open, coming out to the light that will question people's idea of another person. There's a lot of things that people are dealing with in respects to how the world operates. And I think with you, Pisces, this is for this group who are actually really full full on with their spiritual connections or their spiritual understanding. I think you're trying to connect with a deeper understanding of how things are operating and you would like answers. And Pisces, you're the person to go to with answers, like understanding answers. You're never a person to brainstorm about. You're definitely a person that tries to get answers as much as possible. So at present, what you're dealing with is you're feeling trapped, you're feeling powerless, you're feeling helpless, you're paralyzed with what's happening in the world. There's fear of changes in your own situation. So because of what's happening, possibly all the things that are happening in the world, possible wars coming up, you're very kind of like, well, how's it going to affect me? How's it going to uh, tarnish my reputation? I don't know. There's something about that. I might get clarifying part. The immediate influence right now is balance and peace and harmony. So there's a part of you that's so Pisces to have that moment in time where you're trying to balance yourself out, even though the world around you is set on light. Yeah, I find Pisces so interesting because I always get into job roles that are very peculiar that people go, why would you do that? And even though other people might say, why would you do that? It's just the way for you. You're very kind of busy is your common understanding about your situation is this is actually evening and I'm happy doing. So um see. Well, a lot of you are like wanting kids, stabilizing, you've got children, and a lot of you are thinking about how am I going to support these children in the future without showing a lot of arguments, without showing your understanding around that. Like because of what's happening in the world, you don't want to stress out your kids, but also there's this interesting side of you that wants to change everything up for money because you know that you can make money. That's also the other thing about Pisces that I know is that you're never stressed about money. You're always got a good head on you, good head on your shoulders. However, there are recent influences in the past, not the immediate past, but most recent within 2 weeks, a month. Pisces, everyone battles with addiction, whether that's addiction to watching TV, whether that's addiction to eating a lot of chocolate, whether that's addiction to exercise. You can be addicted to anything. And I think that with you, there's always balance, right? You always need that balance. Right now, you're dealing with addictions, and some of you, it might not be as soft as what I described. Those addictions might not be that easy. Like I find that people get addicted to exercise a lot, which I think is a good thing. A lot of people think it's a positive thing, but there are negative addictions, and I think you're dealing with possibly a few, two, three addictions that you're very relatively you're in the understanding of. You're like, if you haven't quit smoking by now, Pisces, I don't know what to tell you. Give me 2 seconds. You want happiness, but you also know that the happiness that you seek is through lies and deception. So it could be that you're smoking, for example. You might not be telling people that you're smoking, which is not a problem. But I think get rid of your addictions. I started healing myself about 3, 4 years ago, and I don't smoke at all. I don't drink at all, and I've never felt better. And it's okay to go through what you need to go through, but I definitely know drinking, smoking is not the answer, even if it's recreational. I used to always think, oh, maybe it's okay to have a drink on a Friday. That's when I started letting go of my addictions was I'll just do it on a Friday. And then I was like, yo, I really can't be bothered drinking today. And it's been possibly about 2 years since I haven't drunk on a Friday. Having said that, I did drink recently on a Sunday. Um, but even that, like even me clarifying that as addiction is absurd because an addiction is you have to have it every day. But I end up in it as an addiction because I can slip and slide and have a drink every day. So I just don't choose to do that. Your past influence in your past past, abandonment, walking away, letting go of things, letting go of particular situations, and you were seeking the truth. I'm thinking about 5 to 6 years ago, you changed your life around. Possible goals and destiny is that you want completion from what you did in the past or your hard work. You want fulfillment. You want a sense of belonging in relation to what you did in the past, how you managed yourself, what you ended up getting for yourself. In the future influences, there's a lot of trauma coming up here. You're refusing to heal from a situation. Actually, when I was doing my free, actually that makes sense. When I was doing my free reading, there was a lot of I don't know who I am. And then there was a lot of I don't know who you are. And I wasn't sure who you were speaking to. So I didn't know, I didn't pick up who this Piscean was speaking to. I was kind of like, oh, is it God? I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'm like, maybe it's not. But there's a lot of like question. And if you keep doing that, I don't know if you're going to get your answers. I think that's not the way to go. Again, remember when I started my free reading, there was a lot of I'm looking for cosmic relief. I'm looking for cosmic answers for what's happening here. So you're really anchored to that. Look, I think that when people start reaching the theatre bond because of all the wars that are happening, with whatever it is that you're perceiving, I don't think that's the best way for anyone, especially when you're like, I don't know who God is anymore because, things are happening in my life that's unexplainable. Things happen to everybody's lives that are unexplainable. But the difference between a really healthy mindset about that and a non-healthy mindset is that people don't question. So I just wouldn't question things in a cosmic sense, though I can learn the rehearsals. But look, you're committed to being that person, though. Like the cards are also clarifying this is who you're committed to being because it worked before. It's just not going to work now. Look, I don't know why we have multiple wars when like it's so. Yeah, I'm just gonna be blunt and frank and provide you a little bit of my personality. I don't know why. Like we should be at World War III already. If people are a little bit switched on, it's so obvious that somebody needs to say World War III because if we had this in label in the 1950s, yes, it would have been labeled as World War III. Other countries would have come in, da da da. It's obviously been, look, you're searching for cosmic answers. You only need to look at one direction and you'll get it. Just saying. But let's move forward. So that's just my opinion. But you like when it comes to seeking out guidance and truths, there really isn't any in this era, in this generation. There really isn't. So you can look into that and how it the way you like. We're definitely not in World War, and it's definitely not World War III. So I think of that as a positive thing. We've learned from the experience of the past, and if anything, I swear there's only one answer for you if you kept looking. So negative feelings of taking the first initiative, taking the first steps, planning forward, and those plans aren't coming to what you or they're not making any sense. You're not really happy with that. So you're really stuck on how things not moving forward for me. Maybe it's my planning. It's got nothing to do with your planning. There's a lot of I'm seeing a lot of roses or flags. There's something like symbolic to you that you keep staring at, that's also not going to provide you answers. I think that when you are doing your research or when you're doing your cosmic search, I think actually looking at the world and actually standing up what it is going to help immensely. Friends and family, they think that you're courageous, they think you're charming, they think that you're doing things. But back at your friends and family are stressed. Pisces, this is definitely your world. Like there's nobody in my immediate circle who are stressing about a possible war. No one. Absolutely no one. So I don't know where you're coming from, but it's definitely a Pisces. Just ensure that you're still that person who's the rock, courageous, providing that energy, providing that uh enlightenment, however way you want to term it. But you're seeking answers to a cosmic being or God, whoever it is that you're seeking answers to. And it's just best not to question at this moment. We all know what's going on. You know, it's in your heart then, it's in your mind. We definitely know what's going on. And there's definitely answers on how to get through this. So I don't need to be that advisor for you when you've already got that advisor in your heart, mind. You just need somebody to guide you, and that's what I'm doing. So with your hopes and your dreams, you're really wanting rewards, you're really wanting independence and success. You also want to have that leisure time where you're relaxing by the pool. I think that's just who you are. You enjoy animals and birds. You're enjoying their perspective. Only a cosmic being would understand what that is. And in that sense, maybe be with those animals or be with those beings to give you back your sense of control. The final outcome is arguments and disputes if you don't stop searching for answers that you know that you're never going to get. I think that when I stopped searching for answers and started just being a human being, that's when my life changed. So maybe that will help. Maybe that will give you some guidance. Maybe for your time, Pisces, it's been a pleasure. See you next time.